Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajeem. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidni ilma. Dear students, after multiple requests, as you know that exams are around the corner, and CIE Islamiyat paper 1 like for IGCSE and CIE is on 26th April, and students are worried about it because history, geography and Islamiyat Urdu, they all are Islamiyat paper 1 is also amongst these papers. So let's continue with the important topics also right now, which is the hot question for paper 1, that is question number 2. Because question number 2, there are multiple variants in question number 2, and it is totally based on Quran. So when it is totally based on Quran, anything can come from the Quran. Anything which is relevant to the Quran, it can be the part of the paper 2 under the compulsory question. So multiple students are worried because they don't know if the passages are coming as the question number 2, how would they attempt it. Question number 1, in this part, inshallah, I will cover question number 1 and 2 both for you. Inshallah, you will be able to write main theme of question number 1, like question number 1 A part and also the B part, and plus question number 2 A part and B part both, right? So let's continue with this. The first theme of our syllabus is Allah in Himself. When we say Allah in Himself, now we should only remember, that is most important thing which we need to remember, that is the 5 passages under this category. We have altogether 15 passages, but our focus is right now on Allah in Himself, and the 5 passages which are in the beginning of your syllabus, they are the part of Allah in Himself. So let's jot down those passages. Number 1, Ayatul Kursi, which is well known, like you all know about Ayatul Kursi. Second is Surah Al Anam, and third is Surah Fussilat. Fourth is Surah Shura, and fifth is Surah Ikhlas. Right? Now when we remember, students, when we talk about Allah in Himself, our first line for all these passages, even in question number 1, must be that this passage, do not write this surah, this surah, this surah, because Ayatul Kursi is not a complete surah, this is just a passage. Same as Surah Fussilat is not a complete surah, this is just a passage. Same as Surah Shura, this is not a complete surah, only a passage. So never ever make yourself habitual to write in this surah, because examiner do not like this when you are writing in this surah, in this surah. So always talk about the passage, because your syllabus is calling it passage, right? So when we talk about Allah in Himself, we will connect it always with Tawheed, means unity and oneness of Allah. So when we say that Ayatul Kursi, the theme of Ayatul Kursi or the theme of Surah Al Anam or Fussilat or Shura or Ikhlas is based on Allah in Himself. And Allah in Himself is totally talking about what? Tawheed. Tawheed means unity and the oneness of Allah. After that, we would know that what are the 4 aspects of Tawheed. This question you might have prepared in paper 2 also, or you will prepare in paper 2 also. If you will be preparing correctly here, you will be able to write the answer for Tawheed in paper 2 also. You don't need to learn then Tawheed in paper 2 separately, right? So 4 aspects of Tawheed are number 1, Allah's oneness in His existence. Second, Allah's oneness in His attributes. And third is Allah's oneness in His worship. And fourth is Allah's oneness in His Lordship or authority. Right? Now we will cover in all these 5 passages all these 4 aspects. We have to connect these 5 passages to all these 4 aspects of Tawheed, because all these 5 passages are talking about only 4 attributes of Allah. All these four aspects of Tawheed. So when we are talking about Ayatul Kursi is a content which can come in question 1 also. Translation is given, Arabic version is given, so you can write part A and part B easily. But when it comes in paper 2, it can come under the separate heading also. Sometimes question frames in a way that write down the detailed account of Allah in Himself, right? Or Allah's oneness and unity, connecting it to the theme of Allah himself. Or sometimes they can specify the surahs, as one question already had come in paper about Ayat al-Kursi and Surah Ikhlas, right? So because examiner knows that you remember the verses of Ayat al-Kursi and Surah Ikhlas, that is why examiner is giving you these two passages separately. Otherwise, if you would talk about Anam, Fusilat and Shura, examiner also knows that you do not remember the verses of these passages. That is why you cannot expect from the examiner that examiner would be giving you these three passages also in question number 2. So there is no Asbab-e-Nuzul. Here we will talk about Asbab-e-Nuzul also. If Ayat al-Kursi is coming in the paper separately in question number 2, you are not supposed to write about the Asbab-e-Nuzul, and you don't need to find it, because there is no Asbab-e-Nuzul. Asbab-e-Nuzul means circumstances in which surah was revealed. So there is no Asbab-e-Nuzul for Ayat al-Kursi. That is why you don't need to be worried for that. Yes, among all these five, only Surah Ikhlas has Asbab-e-Nuzul, means circumstances in which it was revealed. So we will be expecting, and examiner will also expect from us that when he is giving or she is giving Surah Ikhlas, we should know the circumstances in which Surah Ikhlas was revealed, right? All other passages, you are not supposed to be worried about all other 4 passages. That Asbab-e-Nuzul can come, so what we will write? Asbab-e-Nuzul will not come, because there is no particular Asbab-e-Nuzul for any of these 4 passages, right? Now make the connection Ayat al-Kursi. If in one question number 2, Ayat al-Kursi is given with Allah himself theme, you will be only remembering certain things for Ayat al-Kursi. Ayat al-Kursi is connected with Allah's Lordship and authority at the first place. Because when you are talking about Allah, Kursi means throne. And who has the throne? Definitely a king. It means that Ayat al-Kursi is talking about the throne of Allah, which is showing Allah's power and Lordship and authority. And then Allah says in Ayat al-Kursi that He is the only one who is running the system, which is showing His ability to run the system, maintain the system alone. And it is connecting with the existence also. The first verse of Ayat al-Kursi, the first sentence of Ayat al-Kursi, Allahu la ilaha illahu, there is no God but He. It is showing Allah's existence, that He exists only alone. Nobody is there to be with Him, to maintain the system, to run the system. He does not need any support. In the same way, you will connect it with attribute also. There are 4 attributes of Allah are mentioned in Ayat al-Kursi. Al-Hayyu, the living, Al-Qayyum, the eternal, and Al-Aliyu, the highest, and Al-Azim, the greatest. These 4 attributes are mentioned in Ayat al-Kursi. If you will learn all these 4 attributes, you will be able to compile a very good answer, develop a very good answer for Allah and Himself theme, connecting it to Ayat al-Kursi. And you can write it in main theme A part also in question number 1. Then worship. Then Allah talks about one more thing which is connecting with existence is Allah does not have any sort of human weaknesses. He is free from human weaknesses. 3 human weaknesses are mentioned in Ayat al-Kursi. Number 1, tiredness. He does not get tired. He does not feel sleepy, and he does not feel slumber. These 3 human weaknesses are mentioned in Ayat al-Kursi. We will be stick with only these 3. Allah does not need food. This is irrelevant. We are not supposed to write this. In the same way, I have talked about the attributes also and worship also. Now, what Allah demands from us? Allah wants us not to associate any partner in His worship. And multiple times Allah is mentioning in other passages also, as Allah says in Surah Al Anam, La tajalu lillahi andada, do not associate partner or other deities with Allah. So this is the same. You can give the reference. You can use in Ayat al-Kursi the reference of Anam, and you can use the reference of Fusilat, Ikhlas and Shura. Any of these passages can be used as the reference of Ayat al-Kursi, because they all are based on Tawheed, right? Then we will come towards Surah Al Anam. Surah Anam starts from Badi. Badi is samawati wal ard. Badi means originator. This is also one of the most handsome name of Allah. I hope you all know the most handsome names of Allah. So attributes, when we say attributes of Allah, we mean the most handsome names of Allah. So Surah Anam, the first word of Surah Anam is Badi samawati wal ard. Badi is the word which is used in the 99 most handsome names of Allah. Once again, we can make the connection with attributes. And Badi means originator, means the one who is creating everything without any map or synopsis. So Allah is the only one who created us. First Allah is saying that khalaqakum means Allah ne tumhe bhi paida kiya. He had created you also. Means we should look ourselves that how Allah had created us at the first place. Adam al-Islam was created without any map. Allah does not need any map. He does not need any synopsis. So he is the originator of the human. So when he was able to make it at the first time, how it is difficult for him to recreate us. This is not something difficult for him. Then Surah Anam talks about some of the attributes of Allah also. Al-Latif, Al-Khabir, Al-Wakil, and also Al-Alim. These are the words, 4 attributes which are used in Anam for the attributes of Allah. And Badi also. If you will be writing only Badi and Alim, if you do not remember Ghafur, if you don't remember Latif and Khabir, Khabir matlab all knowing, Al-Alim the same meaning. But if you are unable to remember it, that's okay. You can only write Wakil or Alim, right? 1 or 2 or Badi is also enough. And then when we talk about Surah Fusilat, Fusilat is talking about at the beginning of Surah Fusilat is Wamin ayatihi layli wan nahar, means that Allah is showing His power, His authority, that we cannot see Allah, but we can see the signs and the symbols of Allah around us. And the most important 4 signs are mentioned in Surah Fusilat: day, night, sun and moon. We can only refer these 4 to Surah Fusilat. We have to learn that in Surah Fusilat these 4 symbols and signs of Allah are mentioned. So we will refer them here. Allah had created them and now we will associate it with worship. Then Allah says that when I created them, means Allah had created sun, moon, day and night. So how can you worship those creations? Because creation and creator cannot be equal. So I am the creator of sun, moon, day and night. How come you can worship them? If you would remember, there is another Surah Al Anam in Allah's relation with His Messenger, in which Hazrat Ibrahim a.s. was looking for the God, and then he saw a moon and he just considered that it can be a God, it's too big. Then he said, when moon disappeared, he saw the sun and he said that it can be a God, but it disappeared. So Hazrat Ibrahim a.s. just made the connection that Allah or the Lord cannot be someone who would be disappeared. So I cannot believe on all these things, because there is someone who is making them disappeared also. So means that there is some other power behind that. So we can make connection of Fusilat with other Surah Al Anam, which is the part of Allah's relation with His Messenger. You will be able to getting very good marks when you will be able to make connections, interlink of your own syllabus. If you will connect the paper 1 with paper 2, if you will connect your own like all the syllabus with the other part of the syllabus, this is something best which you can do. Then Surah Shura. Surah Shura is also talking about Allah's all these 4 aspects of Tawheed. It is starting from Lahu ma fis samawati wa ma fil arz. Lahu is the word which is showing the possession. Once again, authority and Lordship. Word Lahu is showing the possession of Allah. So we can say that Surah Shura is talking about the possession of Allah over everything, day, night, and sun and moon, and heavens and earth. Everything had been created by Allah, and everything belongs to Him. So we should be what Allah's demand from us after this. He had created this for us, and now He wants us to worship only Him. Can't we do that? So repeatedly in these 4 passages, Allah is talking about His worship also. That when Allah had done this, this and this for you, now what is the requirement of Allah? His requirement is to worship only Him and do not associate any partner with Him. He is condemning the shirk again and again and again. Because shirk is something which is unpardonable sin. Right? Now Surah Ikhlas. When you talk about Surah Ikhlas, Surah Ikhlas is talking about there is a background story of Surah Ikhlas also. In some of the books it is written that Jews came to the Prophet ﷺ and they asked. In some of the books it is written Quraysh came. But you have to remember this. These were Jews who instigated the Quraysh, because Jews were the one who had the book before and they know actually about the certain signs of Allah and all this. So they were the one who instigated Quraysh to go and to ask Prophet Muhammad ﷺ about the shape and the form and the lineage of Allah. That if you are claiming that you have one God, so from where this one God had come, how it would be looking like, and what would be His lineage. So Allah is answering in Surah Al Ikhlas. This is Asbab Nazul of Surah Ikhlas also, means circumstances in which Surah was revealed. Then Allah answered in Surah Al Ikhlas that Allah, Qul huwallahu ahad. The word is starting, that the surah is starting, Qul means say. Allah is commanding the Prophet ﷺ that go and say, means tell them, batao unko, Qul huwallahu ahad. He is the one and only, he does not need any lineage. Lam yalid balam yulad means he begets not, nor is he begotten. He does not have any lineage. And the same theme is mentioned in Al Anam also, where Allah says how he can have children when he does not have a spouse. When we talk about once again Surah Al Anam, we can connect Ikhlas and Anam together, because Anam is saying that how he can have children when he does not have a spouse, and Ikhlas says that he begets not, nor is he begotten. So if you would make the connection, they both are talking about the same thing, existence of Allah. In both of the surahs, existence of Allah has been mentioned, that he alone is existing and he does not need anyone to be there. Right? We cannot imagine him. Surah Ayatul Kursi is saying that we cannot make the imaginations for him. He is beyond our imaginations. So he is totally different from our perspective. We cannot imagine even him. If we can't even imagine him, how we can see him? As in Isra and Miraj, Prophet ﷺ only experienced the sublime vision of Allah. Same as Hazrat Musa ﷺ on the Mount of Sinai. So nobody could see Allah, only those people will be able to see Allah who would be entering into Jannah. So may Allah bring that time that we could see Allah, our Creator. However, in Surah Ikhlas, Allah is talking about His two of the attributes also. Ahad, the one. Samad, the self-sufficient. Now I hope, beta, if you will be seeing the 5 passages and you will be learning only these small points about all the passages, you will not be feeling any difficulty to develop the answer. Inshallah, I will in the description box, I will post the complete sample answer of this question also, Allah in Himself, and the complete theme. You can take the reference from it, and on my Facebook page you can visit and you can pick the notes. There I will put the notes also. I will upload the notes also. Remember me in your prayers. Thank you so much. Jazakallah khair.